The Zombies' Rod Argent and Colin Blunstone talk about their very first hit from 1964, She's Not There. I'm John Bowden from Rock History Music. Released August 1964, it reached number 14 on the UK charts, number 2 in Canada and in the US, and was a number 1 song on Cashbox in the US. Rod Argent, Colin Blunstone talk about She's Not There.
I think my father really wanted me to, get what was called then, I probably still is, a proper job, to get some sort of training and some sort of career. But we just won a really big rock and roll competition, and I think that's when I first thought maybe there was a way ahead for us as a professional band. So this is 1964. 100 bands went in for this competition and we won it, which led to a recording deal with Decca Records. And of course, in that first session, we recorded She's Not There, which went to number 1 all around the world. So it all happened quite quickly, but our parents had to co-sign the recording contract because we were all under 21.
Can you imagine? I was 19 when She's Not There became number 1, and I'd written it, and it was the first song after the Beatles to top the charts with a self-written composition, and it made the 9 o'clock news over here. I mean, it was just a dream. You can't imagine a better situation for a kid who was passionate about music and was also a late teenage boy anyway, with everything that is involved in that. And it just felt great.
First of all, it's the first time I realised Rod could write songs. We had a producer called Ken Jones. We'd only just met him, and we were having a conversation about the recording date that was coming up, and he said, in the middle of this conversation, he said, of course, you could always write something for that date.
We were going to record Summertime. That was going to be the single. And he said, well, we can record that. He said, but why don't you guys try and write something? And we went away, and Colin always tells the story. He said,
I've got to be honest, I forgot all about it. I thought people who wrote songs were a sort of a different part of the business. We performed them, but they were songwriters in some sort of mythical Tin Pan Alley type place that wrote songs.
Chris Wyatt went away and wrote a song, which should make me feel good. I went away and wrote a song, and that was She's Not There. And She's Not There happened to be the third song I'd ever written, the second one, really. But I thought, okay, I'm going to write a song for the session. And I thought the first thing I'll do is play some of my old blues albums. They weren't old. What I mean is that some of the material was older than them. I put on a John Lee Hooker album, and the first track on the album was a song called No One Told Me. Now, if you play that, you'll hear that it has nothing lyrically to do with She's Not There or musically beyond that first phrase. But I like the way that little phrase tripped off the tongue, and I started writing a sort of a bluesy melody around it and sort of spun a story. But musically, I didn't realise this at the time, but I'd listened to, even though I was only 18 years old at that time, for about 3 years I'd been completely turned on the Miles Davis Band in particular. The early adventures of Miles into modal music just unconsciously made me construct something, which had that feeling to it. And I didn't realise this for many years until later when I met Pat Metheny. And Pat Metheny said, oh man, he said, She's Not There was the record that led me into thinking there was a music that I wanted to do. And he said, all the modal stuff. And I went away and thought, there's no modal stuff when She's Not There. But when I played it, I realised that what I thought of was a simple progression in the verse between A minor and D. I'd actually constructed a modal chord phrase over that, to run over that. And it did have these modal feelings. And so that's all very interesting, isn't it? But that's how the song was constructed. It was written for the session. But I was passionate about writing it. And I loved it when I had finished. And I had this idea of starting it in a minor key and ending it on a climax with a major chord and then falling down to the minor chord again for the verse. And all those things were in my head. And I wanted it to have a lot of harmony in it, and that happened as well.
And a couple of days later, Rod came back with She's Not There. And when I heard it, first of all, I was amazed that he could write songs, and secondly, I thought that is a wonderful song. I thought I really felt it was special, even the first time I heard it.
It all happened like a dream and was recorded like a dream, and then, unbelievably went away to become an enormous hit.
Well, the boys plan on continuing their tour as soon as this COVID-19 thing ends. And they're working on a brand new album as well. We'll have more from Colin Blunstone, Rod Argent, and Rod will be talking about his band Argent as well. Coming up next week, make sure you comment on our videos. You know we read all the comments. Subscribe to our channel and click on that bell notification. And please, by all means, share our videos on social media. We'd appreciate that. I'm John Bowden from Rock History Music.